Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Another day in the life of a Taycan owner and another safety recall. What is this one for? Well, essentially it is for the brakes and specifically the front brake system. We'll get into some details about what this means for you if you're a Taycan owner, if you're likely to be affected, and what might happen if you don't get it done. Brakes sounds pretty important, right? But I have to say, I don't know of any car manufacturer out there that hasn't had some form of recall at some point in their car producing career with one or more of their models. It just seems to be pretty commonplace these days, and as cars get more complex, more systems in them, the chances of recalls seems to increase. And I don't know of many cars, if any cars, that haven't ever been subject to some form of safety recall. I think the S2000, I'm pretty sure that's never had a recall. And if you know of any more, please do get involved in the comments. But it's not just EVs, it's not just Taycans. If you follow YouTube, you will know of another very prominent car YouTuber. I won't mention his name, but his GT3 RS has just been recalled as well. Hey guys, Wat Motson here. I love Tab's videos. Please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. And yes, my 911 has had to go back in for some work too. And Tab didn't need to do a clickbaity title in order to discuss it, did he? So what exactly is the issue? Well, it is the two hoses at the front of the car, one on each side. And what better way to explain than to take an actual look? So let's do that now. And who says we do not get our hands dirty on this channel? So I decided to have a look around myself. Wheel on full lock. I've got a torch in there so you can see a little bit more easy, but I'm pretty sure this is the hose in question. Now, it is that rubber hose there wrapped in that metal coil, kind of spring-like thing. And if you look here, this is the bend specifically, which I think is the problematic bend. It looks far too aggressive in terms of that routing, and that it's going to catch on that metal standoff you can see there. It's fixed to that bracket with. If I get my finger in there to try and point a little bit, this bit here, right in there, that looks far too aggressive in terms of the bend. And maybe a little bit of a better design. You can see that if I rub that on there, you can see over time with lots of turning and maybe suspension, raising and lowering, that could eventually catch and leak out of that section there. So this is the hose that will be replaced. So as you can see, those hoses, yes, one on the left, one on the right, that route round the front of that suspension strut. And that is where I'm pretty sure the issue lies. And for me, this has been a bit of a surprise, because if somebody had asked me what I thought of Porsche braking systems prior to owning this car, I would have said it is one of their strong points. Absolutely, it's an area they do very well. They've been doing it for many, many years, right? And it's never really been a major issue as far as I'm aware, but they seem to have got it a bit wrong in this, the Taycan. A bit of a surprise. So the J1 platform suffers from this issue. And we know the Taycan has two braking systems. It has the regen braking system, which uses the motors, and also the actual real old school braking system, which uses hydraulic fluid and pads. So should you be worried? Well, what is the scope of this issue? How many cars are affected? Well, it is pretty much every single Taycan. They started by saying, lovely Audi up there, sounded great. They started by saying it was only 365 cars affected, but I failed to see why that would be the issue, because every Taycan that has been produced since day one has those hoses, has this braking system, right? And of course, Porsche have now said in the UK, it's tens of thousands of vehicles that need recalled and looked at. But should you be worried? Should you be panicking if you have a Taycan? Should you leave it in the driveway and get the bus? Well, my personal opinion is absolutely not. There is no need to panic and not use your Taycan because of this issue in any way, shape or form. The front and rear braking systems are independent of each other. So should the worst happen and a hose fail, you will still have the hydraulic braking capability on the rear. You should also get a warning on the dash, alerting you to the fact that the pressure has dropped in the front and to park the car up and get it recovered. But you will still have braking. Now you have the regen braking, of course, always, and you have the pad braking as well in this on the rear should the worst happen. Now, I also understand that no Taycan out there has yet experienced a failure of that hose. So Porsche are looking at this proactively and saying, well, we don't like this actually. How did this get out the door? Let's retroactively fix this and make it good for all the existing Taycans out there, which is what this recall work is all about. Now, I have mine booked in for a service in September. It's first ever service, 2-year service. It's a little bit late because it's the only time they could do, and also provide me with a courtesy car. So I've asked them to cover this work then, but because every single Taycan in the UK might be affected, I do see rumours circulating that part availability is a bit of a struggle right now, and just simply getting the time allocated in at your local dealer to get this work done. But every Taycan owner will be contacted. Now, how was I contacted? Well, with that trusty old letter. I think they could probably do a good job of alerting you in the app as well. That might make it a bit better for some people that might lose mail or whatever, but pretty good job of me being contacted about that recall issue. So every Taycan is going to need done, so you will need to get yours booked in at some point to be looked at and have the hoses changed, fixed, etc. It is a bit of a palaver and a bit of a surprise, as I said, to see Taycan suffering from this, to see Porsche letting a car out the door with that kind of angle on the hose that could potentially cause this issue. It just seems like a bit of a miss, if I'm honest, but it is an issue nevertheless, and an issue that Porsche are doing good of making good. And we should note, manufacturers of other cars aren't without issues as well. My wonderful SL55, that Merc, that R230 platform, has in it an SBC, Sensortronic brake control, developed in conjunction with Bosch. And, I love saying that word, Bosch. And after a set number of cycles, i.e. applications of that brake, the unit will self-destruct. It won't blow up or anything. It will literally just stop working. It will say, I've had my maximum number of cycles now and I'm no longer going to function. So that is quite a concern, isn't it? And because of that issue, Mercedes will offer a 25-year warranty on that component. Should it pack up inside 25 years, they will honour a replacement of that system, which is great to hear. That is really looking after your car and preserving those awesome older cars on the road. If you have a Merc with SBC and it might be off-road because the SBC isn't working, it is a warrantable item, so get involved with Mercedes and hopefully get it fixed. So get your car booked in as soon as you can, but don't let it stop you enjoying your Taycan in the meanwhile. And if you want to inspect your hoses yourself, especially on higher mileage cars that have seen a lot of use, you can use that little clip. It's quite easy to do, to have a look at both your hoses, check those kinks, see if it's worn out. If it is, you might want to maybe explain that to Porsche, get pushed down the queue, or potentially maybe even use the AA recovery service on your Taycan to get it in there as quickly as possible should you notice any damage or fraying on that hose. That's it for this one. Do stay safe, stay well. See you on the next one, and bye for now.